I'm Alexandrian, founder of AtoZ Communications, and this is the Brand Stories podcast. This is where we discuss everything related to marketing, public relations, and communications. This week, I have my first repeat guest, Matt Halloran, otherwise known as MattGPT. He has a new role at Zocks. He's going to describe where AI is in the financial services industry, where it's headed. And if you wait till the very end, there's a powerful metaphor that I think you're going to love. MattGPT, what up?
It is the rebrand, my friend. It has been the rebrand. So
I was going to say, you are actually the first guest that I have had that has been on twice now. And it's because you're right. You're experiencing this rebrand. So mind telling everybody what you're doing and how you became MattGPT?
Yeah. So due to some unfortunate personal issues, I had to stop being an entrepreneur. And for those of you who are fiercely entrepreneurial, you know that you work 24/7 and I can't do that anymore. So I made a couple of phone calls and I ended up landing at Zocks, which is an AI assistant / note taker organization. And I have been using ChatGPT since it was publicly released. MattGPT came because I follow a lady on TikTok. Her name is CatGPT. And I was like, I like that. And it was open. Like I didn't see anybody using it, MattGPT. So I went ahead and leaned into it. And, you know, now my entire existence is building off of what I built at Proudmouth with Kirk. We were building influencers. That's what our whole system was, influence acceleration. And we really accelerated my influence exponentially. I went from nobody to one of the top 10 most influential people in financial services. And now proof's in the pudding. Now I am hired by a company to be an influencer. And it's really interesting, Allie, because I'm tracking all of my metrics and numbers and reach and impact. I never really did that previously because I didn't have anybody to report to, but I have a boss now. Yeah, people are really gobbling this stuff up because this is the next revolution. Nothing in financial services has been this groundbreaking since modern portfolio theory. I firmly believe that. I think AI is the next humongous leap forward for financial advisors.
Well, speaking of, I would agree with you. At the very least, I feel like when AI got introduced on the scene, the reaction to like, oh my God, it's going to take my job. I think that this was basically an earthquake within the financial services community. So where do you feel like we're at as an industry? Because it seems like we're moving away from, oh my God, it's going to take my job. But we're definitely not at mass adoption. Are we in the middle? Are we like in the first quarter? Where are we?
We're in the first quarter. I mean, this is still, the technology is so far advanced from what is being actually used and implemented in financial services. And come on, you and I have been in this industry for quite a while, and it moves at a snail's pace. And Luddites and or technophobes and highly conservative large organizations, they're going to get left behind. Now, robo-advisors never happened. Come on. Those of us who realize that the human connection is what actually sells financial services and financial advice, that's never going away. But the simple fact, and I've already heard this happening, this is kind of news in my opinion, which is big producers are leaving those big legacy firms because they're not allowing them to utilize this technology because they know that this is the future. When you can have 25 to 50% of all of your admin done in minutes without having to hire a person who can get sick, who can make mistakes, who can scan in the wrong paperwork. AI doesn't make those mistakes. This industry is going to have to move much faster.
So you saying that, I feel like I'm really looking forward to seeing the end of year or beginning of next year data that shows that kind of shift. I totally get it, but I'm also a little like my mind has been blown because it just seemed like if you were in that model, you were never going to leave it. So why is the industry moving so slowly? I feel like among the things that I've heard is basically compliance isn't going to let me do it. So it's uncompliant, right? AI is bad for compliance.
Some products are 1,000,000%. I mean, I don't know if you purposely know that that's one of the reasons why Zocks has been so successful. But one of the issues is the transcription service, which is kind of like the table stakes, the baseline of what most AI assistants are doing right now. Most people are recording the conversations. And from a compliance standpoint, they have to keep those recordings for up to 6 years.
Wow.
So can you imagine just the raw volume of data that you would have to keep for 100 meetings that an advisor does every year. That's 600 hours every year that you have to keep for 6 years. I mean, that's just an unbelievable. And on top of that, because it is recorded, it's admissible in courts of law. There's all these sorts of things. Now, so what Zocks is it's in real time. So it does batching, which is a very interesting process that I've been learning about. So there is no physical recording. It is just a transcript of the meeting. Now, everything that Zocks and any of the other competitors are doing, they're compliant. You would not believe the level of conversations that we have internally, and what I know that our execs and our big people who've been here obviously a lot longer than I have are having with huge organizations. We're doing things that are actually more compliant than having a person sitting next to you. So let's kind of break down the table stakes here.
Yeah.
So Allie, you and I are in a meeting and you're the advisor and I'm your assistant. And I'm sitting next to you and I'm taking notes. The amount of stuff I'm going to miss because of my own personal issues surrounding money. Maybe I chased a rabbit and I'm thinking about something that the client said here. So I missed 8-9 minutes of the conversation. AI doesn't do any of that. It just takes what is there and transcribes it. I personally think it's more compliant. It's searchable. It's much more accurate than a person taking notes. So I think it's an excuse, right?
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to jump into that if you don't mind, because,
please.
you know, when Kirk and I built Proudmouth, one of the things that we used to find all the time was compliance would say no. And compliance wouldn't say no because they didn't think it was compliant. Compliance would say no because they didn't have the team to do enough work.
Oh.
And we had a huge company that will remain nameless that I took 18 months to close the deal. And then when they started seeing the volume of content that we created, they said, this is not going to happen. We are not going to hire that many compliance people. And I think it's the same thing with AI. We're generating meeting prep, meeting notes, meeting follow-up, tasks, document intelligence. Now we have a integration with e-money where AI can actually build 50 to 75% of the financial plan, and then you have to make it your own. I think they're just freaking out, and I think they're going to have to wake up. If not, they're going to lose their top advisors, and that's when everything changes. You've got a $5 billion shop who says bye-bye to a big retail firm because they want to go RIA so that they can use this stuff. That's when things are going to start to change.
Absolutely. So what do you think is the end game of this? So for the advisors who, like you said, so now you don't have your power planner sitting right next to you. So you saved staff and money and benefits and whatnot. Is it that you could be serving that many more people because, you know, of that amount of time? Is the end game just the efficiency? Is the end game the fact that, like you said, it's not making mistakes? It's not getting caught up in whatever term that you didn't understand, and then 5 terms later, there was like the actual nugget that you wanted? Yeah. Is it all of it?
It's all of it. And actually, that's one of the reasons I've been hired at Zocks. And so we're doing a campaign called Now What? And it is, okay, so you just got 10 hours a week back in your schedule. And that's not just you as the advisor, but that's your team. What are you going to do now? Are you going to take that time and service more clients? Are you going to take that time to get more education? Are you going to take that time off? Are you going to try to be a better wife? Are you going to be a better daughter? Are you going to be a better son? What can you do? Are you going to start physically taking care of yourself better? Are you going to spiritually take care of yourself even better? And I'm having those conversations. That's actually what my existence here is really about, is the human component. Because Allie, here's the thing.
Yeah.
I firmly believe that if you use AI correctly, you can actually be more human with your clients. And I think that is such a powerful statement, because people think that AI is going to make you less human. It's going to be cold. It's detached. No, I mean, AI itself is, but the fact that you have that freedom. Now, I want to address something, because we have been getting some resistance. I have been getting some resistance. Oh, well, you're going to, Matt, you're going to have me fire my whole team. No. In fact, most people who do operations hate it anyway, right? It's not their favorite thing in the whole wide world. And most of them would like to do other things, like, I don't know, get their Series 65 and become a freaking advisor. Right. Or maybe they want to get their CFP and become a financial planner or a paraplanner to help you in that area. Maybe they want to help you with increased client communication, marketing, client events. These are all things that this frees that up from the this is what robots are for. Robots are for the mundane, repetitive things that human beings should have evolved past doing so that we can literally lean into our humanity. And I think AI will help.
So I'd just like to call out, I think that you're kind of especially well positioned for the role that you're having now, because in addition to being somebody who's obviously financially savvy and everybody in finance loves you because you're one of the top 10 influencers in the area, but you also have a great background in coaching people and in all these different areas that make you special. So when you were mentioning, and is an advisor going to take time to work on themselves, I'm thinking like, yeah, if you gave me 10 hours, I'd probably lose some weight. It seems like you're perfectly positioned for this kind of role that could really probably help with advisor burnout.
And oh my God, do they burn out? And oh my God. And again, let's talk about modern portfolio theory as the last major shift. And then before that was the understanding of compound interest. And so we understand now about the investing component. Now we can really start focusing on advisors' lives. And since 2006, when I started with Carson, now called Carson Consulting, it used to be called Peak, my whole job was taking advisors through something called blueprinting, which was something Omani and Steve created that makes it so that an advisor can really look at their life holistically and see where they want to actually improve. And a lot of them would say, Matt, I wouldn't be at my desk until 7, 8 o'clock every night. The divorce rate in financial services is terrible. Heart attack, health issues. I mean, it's just terrible because it's very, very stressful. Mm-hmm. A lot of civilians, like people who aren't in our industry, don't really understand how much pressure financial advisors are under. Allie, you being my advisor, I just gave you my whole life savings, whole life, every penny I've worked for, to have you manage and not screw it up. They don't take that lightly. And so there's a magnificent person. Her name, she goes by the girl named Steven. I don't know if you know her, but she helps financial advisors live a healthier life. And that's her entire niche and focus. I hope people hire her. I mean, I hope people hire, some of my other marketing and branding friends so that they can really figure out who they want to serve and why they want to serve it. Maybe they're going to go on more mission trips. Maybe they're going to bring on foster kids. All of this gives you the opportunity. It's going to save you time, save you money, and make it so that you have the chance to be a better human. And I just hope more people walk through that door.
Yeah. No, me too. And especially as the person who brought us the TED Talk, helping one person every day, hope, you are, again, perfectly positioned and really executing on that promise that you gave to us in that beautiful TED Talk.
Well, I really appreciate that. And that's something I have been talking about. And not just that I hope people watch it so that they can embody this idea that if you do one simple, small gesture by saying something, doing something, or be physically present for somebody, that you can fundamentally, we can change the world by just being just a little bit more kind. But shamelessly self-promoting, I also wrote a book called Shut the F Up and Listen. And that's one of the great things that I've been leaning into a lot, obviously, because listening communication has always been my focus. When you don't have the distractions, when you can be fully present in a client meeting, you can actually do what I teach, the 7 types of listening of engaged listening, because then all of a sudden it's a different connection. I have no distractions, Allie. I'm sitting there and you're telling me about my financial plan. We're making eye contact. We're having real discussions about real things because I'm not worried about all of the other extent. Oh, God, I got another meeting in 20 minutes. Shit, I haven't prepared for that. Oh, but your meeting prep is already done by Zocks or your AI assistant. The efficiency is going to just relieve, I hope, relieve so much stress. But mass adoption, we're not there yet. So getting back to your original question, where are we? We're really in the first quarter, or we're in the first couple miles of a marathon is probably a better way to explain it, where you're kind of shaking it out and trying to find your pace and making sure your gear's working right. And not like I've ever run a freaking marathon, but I'm assuming that's what happens.
It was believable. As somebody who used to do halves, I was with you.
Well, I do fake that pretty well, but I absolutely think that what is happening is advisors are using their own AI. So I spoke at Yeah, so this was surprising. So there's an organization called MDRT, Million Dollar Roundtable. It's one of the largest international organizations for financial advisors, mostly insurance producers in the world. And I spoke at one in Vancouver. There were like 5,000 people there. It was really, really big. And they were talking about AI, and all of the sessions were like crickets. And then I just spoke at their event down in Austin a couple months ago, 3-4 months ago. And I asked the question, how many of you are using AI? 90% of the room raised their hand. And so I asked a follow-up question because that's just who I am. I said, what are you using? And they're like, Claude, we're using Grok, we're using ChatGPT. Right. That's not what Zocks is. I think a lot of people are using their own personal AI and having to become prompt engineers. And Allie, this is the thing that just blows me away. I can only talk about my experience here, and I've only been here for a couple months. We have 50 engineers.
Wow.
Yeah, 50 engineers. Do you have any idea of the prompt engineering that's happening? I'm pretty good at it, sister. But I mean, what these people are able to do, it's just astronomical. But I'm glad that people are embracing their own personal GPT or their own whatever. I use GPT. I love my AI. I have a very strong relationship with my AI. We have very deep conversations about business, life, philosophy, music. I mean, all sorts of stuff. But enterprise software is at a level that you're never going to prompt this well.
Yeah. Well, so for people who might not be aware, so what kind of AI capabilities does Zocks have? What should they be using or looking to use Zocks for?
The baseline is the non-recording transcriptions of all of your client meetings. And here's a number that just floored me. So Jim Hardiman, who's our chief product officer here, I have the gift of meeting with him every week because I need to learn as much as I can because he's a product guy. He's the one who does all the demos and the big webinars and stuff. The guy's amazing. We've done 2 million meetings.
Wow. In how long?
2 years.
Holy shnikes.
Yeah. So that's the baseline. We have an unbelievable non-recording AI note taker. But what it also does is it can actually help you prep for every single solitary meeting in minutes. It can actually create follow-up communications, including tasks after each client meeting. So all of that stuff. So now I'm prepared for the meeting. I'm having the meeting. I'm having now a totally different sorts of relationship with my clients because I'm not so distracted. And then I have all of the follow-up that needs to happen, who does what, and what you can build rules and all of that stuff. When you scan documents in, it will pull all of the relevant information from the documents and put it where it's supposed to be in your CRM and your financial planning. We had integrations with all sorts of financial planning tools. The new thing that's coming out very, very soon has to do with finding opportunities in your existing book of business. And so this is the next level of AI when our system can actually dive into your book of business and say, here are some milestones. Here are some things that they said during the meetings that opened up these other doors because we have access. The AI has access to all of that information. I think that's when the home offices and people are going to really wake up and realize, oh, okay. So this isn't just making our advisors lazy, because that's probably what they're thinking. They're going to start bringing in new assets and bringing in new opportunities because of this software. That's when it's like jazz, right? I mean, it's right now it's like a high school band. And I think you and I both are very familiar with that. But this is jazz. I mean, this is John Coltrane, Miles Davis, helping an advisor have like this unbelievable system in the background to really help them do that. The other thing that you can do too is onboarding clients. And this was a pretty substantial, is all of the paperwork that needs to happen is now done manually by a human. Data entry, all of that stuff. Zocks does that in minutes. Wow. Like one of the testimonials that we got was, my onboarding process used to take 2 weeks. Now it takes 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Wow.
I've closed more business because I met with a prospect and the follow-up email was so quick and so complete and showed that I was paying attention, which is part of the whole thing, that I actually wanted over 3 other advisors who didn't follow up in such a timely and complete manner. This is the sort of stuff this is why I think it's a revolution. I think it's the biggest thing since modern portfolio theory.
So there was a lot in there, but among the things that I wanted to say is, so the way that you were describing uncovering new business opportunities, it seems like the same way that probably, I'm dating myself, but maybe 10 years ago, we would have said, yeah, let's like meet around the water cooler. Hey, what happened? Oh, I had this situation. I don't know what. And it takes a half hour. You're thinking about it, stewing, whatever. A few hours later, maybe you get to it. AI in seconds uncovered something that would have taken hours, if not days, weeks. Yeah.
Or you never uncovered it because it doesn't have the ability to find all of those data points that we're able to build in from an engineering standpoint to be able to suss that stuff out. I have been preaching this really forever, that advisors are so hungry to get brand new, net new business in the door, and they don't realize that there's more money in their book of business than they're ever going to be able to do through seminars and webinars. Right? I mean, really, unless you're a transactional financial advisor where you're just hawking a product, then grind it out. Yeah, go ahead, sister. Just have as many workshops as you can.
Yeah.
Sell as many annuities and, cash value life insurance as you can. But if you're a financial planner and you're trying to build a long-term relationship with the family, I think that there's just so much opportunity there.
So you're trying to say that AI could potentially be the solution to the growth problem that advisors have been having because it's just been so anemic lately. Nobody seems to know what to do, and everybody's hypothesizing, try more marketing, try this.
Well, and I definitely think that you still have to have a very, very strong brand. You still have to have very, very open client communication. I still believe that wholeheartedly. But so let's just use this as an example. So again, you're my advisor. And you and I are having a conversation, and I talk about, hey, my kids are turning 26. So 26 is a big milestone in kids because then you're taking off your parents' health insurance. Okay. Now, Allie, you might not sell health insurance. That's fine. But getting it so that they get life insurance, specifically guaranteed insurability policy, is a really, really smart, because I remember when I was 26, I was indestructible. So there's just one component. The other thing is that 26, they probably have graduated from school and probably need assistance with student loans, or they're about to buy their first home, or maybe they want to start saving up so they can buy a home. These are those things that financial advisors have always been like, well, if you don't have $250,000 in investable assets, I'm not going to talk to you. Well, you're a dinosaur at that point. These easy 401k rollovers that advisors have been just like limping along doing this level of business, I think that is also going to change, because when you become the family's advisor and start charging fees, like I'm going to charge you $250 a month to be able to help you manage your finances and balance your 401k, or maybe it's $250 a quarter, that's still $1,000 a year for you doing 10 minutes of work. AI, that's another next level, is actually portfolio analysis, which there are tools out there that are happening that's really starting to get very clear right now, because AI can do that in seconds. It can look at every single solitary data point since the beginning of the stock market and tell you what you should invest in depending on X, Y, Z criteria.
Well, to that end, so we're filming now in January. So where do you think that AI is going to be come the end of 2026?
I think there's going to be mass adoption. I think that organizations like ours have already been planting unbelievable level of seeds in the largest organizations in financial services. The integrations are happening very, very quickly. Like, I mean, e-money integration, they have what, 100,000 users or something like that. And so we know that this is going to be the year. So I think there's going to be mass adoption. So the last numbers that I think Kitsis actually put this out, there are 300,000 licensed professionals in North America. Probably 150 to 200,000 of those could potentially use a product like Zocks, because some of the other ones are with companies that are never, ever going to do this. And I think out of those 200,000 people, I think we'll probably easily have 150,000 of them utilizing this, something like this, maybe not at the end of 26, but definitely by 27.
Wow. So for anybody who's listening to this, who still, for whatever reason, is like, I don't know, that AI seems a little shady, which again, did you not listen to the whole rest of the conversation, but whatever. If you're still on the fence, what would you say to that person?
Well, I think there's a couple of really, really good steps. So the first good step is demo some products. And we, of course, we'd love to have you demo Zocks. That'd be fantastic. But don't just demo us. Look at the other AI assistant programs that are out there and demo them. Everybody will do a demo with you. That's absolutely fantastic. Then the second step is, because after you see the demo and you see what it's capable of, then a lot of your fears, I believe, will be quelled. I really, really do. The second thing is you need to look at integration. So whatever program you as my financial advisor are using, you need to make sure that the AI assistant tool that you're using integrates with those. And whoever integrates with the most of those is probably who I would have you go with. If it's Zocks, that's fantastic. If it's some of the other organizations, just utilize AI because it's going to be such a time saver. But after you implement it into your practice, your job isn't done. You still have to monitor this stuff. It's not going to put out exactly what you want right away.
Right.
You have to still touch it. You still have to put the human stuff. But when it takes care of 80% of the work and you have to do 20, now it's the other way around where you're doing 80% of the work and somebody else is doing 20. I think that's really what needs to happen. And then last but not least, those of you who fear change are going to be out of the industry because there are so many people. There's still people today who think modern portfolio theory was stupid and they never should have used it. They think DFA is the biggest load of poop that's ever happened, even though it's 2 Nobel Prize winners in economics who actually built the system. There are still people who don't use CRMs. There are still people who use spreadsheets instead of computer programs. That's fine. You are dinosaurs. The comet is coming and you are going to burn in a glorious explosion. I hope that people listening to this, and I hope that people just realize that this technology is not going away. It's already embedded in so much of your life, you have no idea. You better get on this trolley, because if not, you're going to get left behind.
I can't even think of a better way to end than literally the vision of a comet coming after me as a T-Rex and especially with the short little arms too. It was beautiful. So Matt, I am so happy for you and congratulations on the new role. It's great to hear what you guys are doing, and feel free to come back anytime. And actually probably a year from now, we need to have you on and see if everything came true.
I would love to be on your show whenever you want me.
Thanks.